The U.S. and Australia have signed a deal to boost supplies of rare earths and other critical minerals as China tightens its control over global supplies. U.S. President Donald Trump and the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed that agreement at the White House on Monday. The agreement will support projects that are worth up to $8.5 billion and is expected to help the White House achieve what it calls critical mineral and energy dominance. 70% of global rare earth extraction is controlled by China. 90% of refined rare earth minerals are produced in China, including graphite, cobalt, and lithium.
I've been invited to go to China, and I'll be doing that sometime fairly early next year. We have it sort of set. But I think we're going to have a very good relationship with China. And again, they will threaten us with rare earths. I don't think they're threatening us too much right now. But they could do that, but I threaten them with something I think is much more powerful, and that's tariffs.
Okay, we have with us Peter Hartcher, who's a political and international editor of the Sydney Morning Herald, joining us from Canberra this hour. Thanks for your time. So to what extent is this simply about redefining the global rare earth landscape and countering China's influence?
Well, it's about all of that, but it's more broadly about whether the US is going to be able to continue to have a modern, sophisticated economy, because rare earths are essential to everything, including modern computers. They're needed for the advanced semiconductors that run computers and that everything, including AI, depends upon. But they're also needed for engine turbines. They're needed for cell phones. They're needed for drone engines. Their applications are almost endless. And as you said in the intro, according to the International Energy Agency, China controls 92% of all processed rare earth minerals. And last week, with Xi Jinping announcing export controls on China's rare earth minerals and saying that the US would not allow any exports for any defense-related, any military-related purposes to any other country, that has really threatened the US with an embargo on these essential elements. The US has plenty under the ground, doesn't have many in production. Australia has even more under the ground. Again, not many in production, but the US has now pounced on this potential with Australia as a solution to this embargo that the Chinese government has now threatened the US with. And it really is that vital. In fact, Trump's former Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, said that in about 6 months to 12 months, when stockpiles of the critical minerals and rare earths in the US have run down, whole industries in the US will have to start closing down, such as electric vehicles, the whole thing.
So what are you learning about how this is going to work? The agreement has just been signed. What are the next steps?
So the two governments have said they'll each put $1 billion in the next 6 months into supporting and underwriting particular mining projects and critically refining projects in Australia, with the aim and stepping up potentially, according to these governments, and who knows with their projections, but they've said could ultimately support projects with a value of up to $50 billion US. But the outcome they're seeking is a guaranteed supply chain of rare earths from Australia to the US. It's the word guaranteed is the critical part, now that China is trying to exercise its strategic heft, its strategic choke point over rare earths.
How do you expect China then to react to this?
Well, the two leaders are due to meet in a couple of weeks. That's Xi Jinping and Donald Trump on the sideline of an APEC meeting in Seoul. So presumably there'll be a negotiation. Trump has threatened retaliatory tariffs of an extra 100% on China. Yet he admitted just a couple of days ago that that was actually an unsustainable threat. It would effectively kill all trade between the US and China. So he's admitted it's not a very practical threat. So he's really conceded that China has the strong hand, the stronger position in this negotiation. How China reacts, we can't predict, we can't project, but they have said that they will fight to the end if necessary, unquote.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Peter Hartcher, you're the political and international editor at the Sydney Morning Herald, speaking to us from Canberra this hour. Thank you.
Pleasure, Darian.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.